Hey guys, this is James with e16.co again, and today we're going to talk about selling services on your 21 node. So the first one that we're going to look at here is Ping21. So this is the easiest one to get started with, and there's a great tutorial on the 21.co website, and it explains how it works, how to get it set up. So we're just going to sort of follow through that tutorial and just sort of do an interactive demo of that. And the idea behind Ping21 is that any client on the network can ask a group of nodes on the 21 network to ping a certain IP address or URL and report back stats about first whether it was able to connect, so it'll tell you whether or not the website is down or the IP is down, and then also the statistics around speed and how fast it took for the pings to get to that machine. So there's actually a service called Pingdom that does a service similar to this that I believe this was modeled after. And it's very interesting that the thought is that by using the nodes on the 21 network, you can achieve this same sort of information about your website monitoring, except probably it can be done for a lot cheaper, since there's no company behind the scenes running these servers to do this work, and it's really nodes that are volunteering to do this work in order to get paid small amounts of money on the 21 network. All right, so let's get started here. We're going to jump into a terminal, and we're going to log back into the VM that we set up in the first tutorial. So if you haven't set up a 21 node yet, go back and look at part 1 tutorial on how to get a 21 node set up on Amazon EC2. So we're just going to SSH into this guy. And what I usually do is sort of the first thing I do when I get into a node here, just do a 21 status to make sure it's not complaining about anything. If the 21 library is not up to date, it'll give you a warning here, so that's a great thing to always just run and just make sure. And again, this is just showing me the balances that I have on this node here. And again, this is the balance that's with 21.co off-chain on their service, and I don't have anything on the blockchain or in any payment channels at this point. And so another thing you could do is sort of check out what's been going on your node. You can run 21 log, and this will tell you statuses about what's been going on with your account on the 21 network. And you can see here it says you submitted work through the 21 Bitcoin computer. So what does that mean? And it also says plus 68 Satoshis. So while we're looking at a Amazon EC2 instance here, it is using my 21 account, and I have several nodes on the 21 network running with that same account. And this is actually telling me that, it doesn't really say it outright, but my 21 Bitcoin computer is mining in the background, and so it's sort of generating these Satoshis and adding them to my spendable buffer. And so you can sort of scroll through all this, and anytime you buy or sell services on the network, or you get rewarded for mining, it will show up in this 21 log command. So you just hit Q to get out of that. And so an interesting problem, let's say you've just set up your EC2 node and you don't have any Satoshis on the network. So what can you do? Well, one thing that they've built, which is pretty cool, is a command to basically give yourself some Satoshis to play with. And this is modeled after, the back in the day when Bitcoin was first sort of taken off. Gavin Andreessen set up this thing called a Bitcoin faucet to give away Bitcoins to people. And so people would just go log into his website, put their Bitcoin address in, and he would, send them a Bitcoin to play with. What 21 has done, though, is they've got a 21 faucet command here. So I'm just going to run 21 faucet, and we'll see that it's requesting Bitcoin. So, it's really interesting that they've just sent me 40,000 Satoshis just for playing with on their network. And another thing you'll notice is it requires CPU proof of work, and it took 1 second. So this is sort of what they're doing to prevent people from, trying to pull a lot of money out of 21.co faucet. So when you request, it requires you to burn some CPU power. And there's just this little green box here. So if you keep asking for it, it actually gets, I believe it gets exponentially harder to get Satoshis from them. So you notice here it took 1.1 seconds. So if we keep asking for Satoshis from them, let's see, this little green bar got a little bit bigger. I'm sort of curious myself how far I have to, there we go. So it's basically saying, yeah, you pulled a bunch of Satoshis out, why don't you hold off for a little while? But again, if you do 21 status, we can see that I've got a bunch of Satoshis added to my account. So if you don't have any, run 21 faucet a few times, get a little bit in your buffer, and then you should be able to use services. Okay, so now let's look back at this Ping21 service. And if you just follow this tutorial here, it actually shows you how to actually buy from the 21 service. So let's just do a test buy here. Instead of using bitcoin.org though, let's use E616 if I can spell it right. Oh, I'm having a hard time. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to buy some pings from the Ping21 aggregator against my website here, E16.co. Now, one interesting thing when you do this, you see that we're just saying buy this, right? Like, so how much is it going to cost? All that stuff is sort of, not really being specified, but they just gave us a whole bunch of Satoshis, so let's go ahead and spend that. Okay, so the command has just completed. It's telling us that we spent 9,000 Satoshis. So if we look at the command we ran, we said n equals 3, so that told us to run 3 pings against the website. So each one costs 3,000 Satoshis. And if we jump up here, we can sort of see the output. Here we'll look at the last one. So this is from a server. It's not really saying where it's showing up. If you look at some of these, it'll actually give you like the location. So in this case, this one was coming all the way from British Columbia. Looks like this one's in France somewhere. And using the APIs, you can actually specify where you want the pings to come from. We just said anywhere, so it picks some random ones. And we can see here that, for this one, the time to live was 52. And we can sort of compare these different ones if we wanted to do some inspection. So that's about it. So we kicked off the Ping21 aggregation service. It found 3 random servers, returns us the results, charged us 9,000 Satoshis to get this information. Okay, so now what if you want to run your own Ping21 server so that people can pay you to do this work for them? To set up our own Ping21 server, let's go take a look at this Ping21 tutorial we're looking at. So it basically says to get into your 21 computer, make sure you have Git installed. We will install Git. All right, so after Git's installed, we want to clone the repository for Ping21. So let's just take a look here. We are in the home directory, so we'll just go ahead and clone that directly here. And you can cd into it if you want. And we'll just do an ls to see what's in there. So we've got a server, some requirements, stuff like that. All right, and the next thing the tutorial tells us to do is to run easy install pip, and well, it says this isn't found, so let's just take a look at that real quick. And we say easy install 3, so it says it's not installed, but if you want to install Python 3 tools, run this. So we'll say yes, we'll get all that done. All right, and so now we should be able to run easy install pip. We're good to go there, finish processing. And there is a requirements.txt file in that directory. So let's just do a cat on the requirements text. So this is basically telling what libraries that the Python server needs to have installed as prerequisites. So we're just going to send that to pip3 and tell it to install them. Okay, and once that's installed, you can sort of see here that they want you to go ahead and publish your server using the 21 publish command. And let's not do that quite yet. Let's go ahead and run this Python 321 Ping21 server. And so let's just look at this directory again. So in here there is a Ping21 server.py, and that's what we want to run to have the server run and be able to accept requests for the Ping21 aggregator coming in. So let's just go ahead and run that and see what happens. So it says server running, we're good to go. And if you ever want to just see what's what's running, you can grep it and just see what Python 3 items are running. So we can see it in the background that this Ping21 server is running right now. And so what that should allow us to do, and we'll just take a look at the manifest right here. So the manifest basically tells you what APIs are available in the service that we're running. And so, you know, it has basically a simple one for this Ping21 server, and it's basically the path is /. So, you know, it says here your zero-tier IP address, it's running on port 6003, and then the URI. So let's just go ahead and run this same thing here. But of course we have to put our zero-tier IP address. So since we're just going to run against the local server, we can actually just say run that, and we'll see what actually happens. So connection refused. So let's just say we are not part of the 21 market right now. So we do have to join first. All right, so we will also join the marketplace. 21 market status is what I meant to run there. Okay, so there is our zero-tier IP address. And so let's go ahead and put that IP address in there, 10.244.113.158. Okay, so I'm jumping back in here. One thing I noticed real quick was when we did the cat on the manifest, it actually showed the IP address as 6003, which is not correct. If we do a cat on the ping server.py, we can see that it actually runs on 6002. So in order to get this to work, we have to tell it to run against 6002 port and pass it the URI. And if we run that, we should see that our local host is indeed capable of serving up ping requests. So here we see our server is in Amazon's cloud somewhere in the US and looks like Ashburn, Virginia. All right. So now we do want to publish the application that we're running to the server, the Ping21 aggregation server. And to do that, we just have to run the 21 publish submit command. That's got the right port this time. We're saying every time somebody calls us, give us five satoshis, and you know, we'll put in some information here. So we'll say James at e16.co, and James Pool. So let's publish this and see what happens. Okay, so it says it's been published. So now we want to see if the Ping21 aggregator is actually using us. And if you take a look at this tutorial here, it does tell you how you can do that. Basically, you can run a curl command against the aggregator and ask for your IP address to see if it's in there. So once again, we'll just do 21 market status just to verify our IP address there. And we will use the command from the tutorial. Oops. And it says our server is in the Ping21 pool. So we are good to go. Whenever a request comes into the 21 aggregator now, our server might be chosen to run these ping commands and get paid to do so. The other thing is the client might specify they want to see what a ping from Virginia, and since our device is in Virginia, it would have a higher chance of being selected to be used for that as well. Alright, so that seems like a great dropping off point for now, and we will pick back up with another example with Ping21 in the next demo. Thanks guys!